Welcome back. Well, today I finished a very important component for this oven, which was the entry arch. There are two arches that are going to be built. One is already now done. This is the entry arch. These are very large bricks that go beyond into the dome and become part of the dome construction. They interlock with it. Now the bricks in these pillars here are not designed to be the same dimension as the dome bricks. In other words, they don't have to line up. So I can build this archway, the entry to the oven, independently. And so that's what I've done. We've taken a break from where my daughter the other day was laying some courses for the dome. She laid most of the first course, and I picked up and finished that course off, and then tied in another few bricks on the back. But I turned my attention to this entryway. It's pretty detailed construction. And not being a professional mason, I had to take my time. I've done some masonry in the past, but this is very intricate work. As you can see, these joints are only 1/8 of an inch, which is far different than you see on typical brick mortar construction. So, I mean, it's very pretty. There are bricks that interlock from the front section of this archway, entranceway into the back section, and the whole back is tapered. So now I'll be turned. This archway here came with the kit, and it supported the bricks. And under the arches, they give you some plastic sticks that you fit underneath. And then in order to get this dome out, in order to get this support out of the archway, you pull these sticks out. It allows it to drop down about 3/32 of an inch, which is enough clearance so you can slide the support out. So that we're done with that now. That fancy piece of equipment is all done with. Now I'll show you a little bit more of the construction about this. Come on and take a look. You got to take note of the taper in the back here that basically takes the form of the interior of the dome. And this particular brick right here is a long brick that dovetails into the back of this brick. There's a lot of intricate cuts that they made at the factory at the Fire Brick Company that allow these bricks to beautifully interlock and give it tremendous support. This mortar, by the way, is something I've never seen before. This is it's a product that was developed in France. It's called ciment fondu. I guess basically that translates to molten cement. It's amazing stuff. It starts setting up in about 20 or 30 minutes, so you can only make what you're going to be able to work with quickly. And I actually had to take this arch apart after I got it almost together the first time. I was a little bit too generous with the amount of mortar that I was applying, and as a result, I didn't have room to put in the last two keystone bricks. So I took it down, I cleaned up the bricks and started again using a little bit thinner consistency mortar that was able to squish up and through as I put it together, and I assembled it much more quickly. I was being a little bit too deliberate in trying to get it neat. This, by the way, is not going to be seen. The hot flue is going to be right here, positioned. The gallery for the flue is going to be positioned right atop of this and atop of the front archway that will be seen, and so there's a passageway for heat to escape up through. The way these ovens work is pretty interesting. the heat rises up into the flue, while at the same time it draws replacement air in from the bottom of the oven. So you know, there's a constant flow of air, fresh air going in, firing up your wood and keeping it hot and getting it hotter all the time, while the hot gases are passing up through the flue. And it's a 7-inch flue, so it's a lot of heat that this stove can develop. And the width of this entranceway here is 20 inches. So, I mean, if I wanted to make you know, New York style pizzas that are 18 inches in diameter, I can do that. Probably I won't. I'll probably be making, you know, smaller pizzas and things like that. But it's a very, very generous entranceway. So now I'm going to be installing this. I'll be installing this archway here, which requires this support, and all these bricks were laid in line with the index marks that are on these forms. It's a really, really fantastic system. So as long as I kept my bricks in line with these index systems and kept the joints 1/8 of an inch thick, everything came out just perfect, and it allows you to square up everything along the edges. So, you know, although I was also using a bricklaying mason's level to keep things level as I went. The form allows you to keep things very, very square as you move along. So that's what we're going to be doing at this point. I've got some special bricks here I'll show you. This is the large vent arch brick set, as you can see on the label. I haven't opened the box yet, so let's do that. So let's see what we got in here. And it's in a. This whole kit was fabulously packed protection, and this is one example of the care that they give to this important selection of bricks. And each one of these bricks, as you see, are numbered, so you know exactly what placement they go. There's a lot of detail here. This brick here is brick number 1. So it's got this cut on the side. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So the first thing I have to do with all these bricks, as I told you before, is you have to soak these in water and make sure that they're completely wet before you begin to use them. Otherwise, mortar simply will not adhere. The mortar will leach out all its water into the brick and it'll simply fall off and without adhesion. So we're gonna get these ready. And next thing we'll be doing is mixing up some of the ciment fondu. It's a 3-to-1 mixture. The cement fondu is going to be mixed 1 part to 3 parts of the other mortar that they give you. They're busy fizzing away. So water is the name of the game with this masonry here. All these bricks really soak it up. So what I'll do is hopefully I'll get the correct amount of mixture, and to complete this arch in one pass, because I don't want to stall things out. Once that mortar starts setting up, it'd be difficult to maneuver the bricks and get the others in place. So I want to get it put together quickly. I'm going to mix up, I think, based upon my experience with the large entry arch, I used 3 scoops in order to accomplish that. I don't think it's going to take 3 scoops, but because these are much smaller bricks. But just the same, I can always use whatever mortar is not used, I can use it in the dome. So I'll wet down some of those bricks right now so that I can quickly install one of those dome bricks with whatever excess I have. And the amount of water is quite critical. You don't want to. It should stick to the trowel when the trowel is held upside down. It should stick to the trowel, but it should also be very plastic, so that it will flow easily between the two bricks when you squeeze them together. So we'll try to get that correctly made. And that's another reason too to have some dry mixture made up ahead of time, because the proportion is already correct if you need to add to it if you get it too soupy. See, that's a very sticky mortar, and yet it's very, very smooth, cream-like consistency. So we'll begin. So I'm very careful to be sure I have my shims in place so I can remove this arch afterwards. Otherwise, I'd have to demo it out, and I don't want to do that. So I've got my mortar mixed up, got my water ready in case I need it to wipe things down, and let's begin. And that's the first brick, and I'm not going to press them into place yet. I just get them going. I can always point them up afterwards. You can see how nice and smooth that trowel is, beautifully smooth. So and you align the numbers just as you read a book along the top. Number 3. This is exciting. I think I'll turn my attention now to the other side, bring it together from each end. And I want to make sure this is number 9, not number 6. I'm very, very impressed by the way they craft this kit, so that it takes all the guesswork out of it, and it's great for amateurs like me, like anybody who's an amateur that doesn't do this. And if you're a pro, you could really move along. And we'll take number 8. I'm going the wrong way here. If there's excess moisture on the bricks, you can simply remove it with a little bit of, just wipe it with a towel. Again, we'll worry about pointing it up later, and I have a feeling that as I bring these together, it's probably going to, I can remove excess at least. That also assures that it's flush too. Your trowel is a good gauge. That's brick number 7. Check my numbers, make sure I'm moving correctly. I'll put in number 6 now. Okay, now we'll move back to the left side. No particular reason why. Now we have to spread these out a little bit to make room for that other brick. And just a little bit of pressure here. And this is why it has to be plastic enough to squeeze, otherwise you're not going to get that one in. This is number 5 is the keystone. So I'll see if I can use this brick to gently work down in and get some of this mortar before it's coming off. So you're seeing it in real time just as I'm doing it. I'm not editing this out. Now it's going to take some. It's going to take some doing. I'll work from the left-hand side and work each brick independently to make room. It's a very, very thin joint, as it appears to be. Move this one over. This is why it's so important to make sure you have a very plastic mixture, because otherwise you can get into trouble and you'd have to tear this all out and start over again as I did yesterday. I think I'm coming up as close as I can get. Let's see. That's really applying pressure to that. Okay, and as you can see, it's not something I can apply a hammer to. Although I probably will use my dead blow hammer to ease this group of bricks into place. That's encouraging to see the mortar squeezing out. I have to be very, very careful. I don't want to chip these bricks. That one's got to move over. This one's, the whole thing is, it is coming into place. If I have to hit anything, I'll hit the top of the brick, which is where the gallery, it's called, the concrete gallery will fit on top of this, and which receives the flue. So I think that's enough room now. I think I can get the bricks in place. This is, I learned a word listening to the owner of the company, Ben Guilford, as he was putting his together. He said this mortar is thixotropic. Starts with a T, thixotropic. It's a, basically it's a thixotropic is mortar that will sometimes appear to be setting up, but then with a little bit of working, shearing, it suddenly comes back to life again. So there we go. There's our keystone, number 5. Gently pop that into place. Here we go. Now it's just a matter of getting them aligned. If I were to do this again, see, I'd know not to apply as much mortar as I did. I was being more generous. I guess there's always a concern that I'm not going to have enough mortar in the bricks. The biggest issue is having too much when it comes to these bricks. All right, I won't fuss around with this anymore. I want to get the bricks lined up so that they're flush, and we'll do that with a combination of just eyeball and working this trowel. I can see where they have to be moved out. Working with my thumb here, right at this edge, I can feel that one's flush. This one appears to be flush. It needs to be brought down a little bit so that it's on top of the form. Oh, I'm sweating like crazy. It's very, very humid, very uncomfortable today. And we'll get this next brick lined up. Make sure that the tops, you can see some, they're moving, they're splayed, so you want to have them splayed equally. Bring that one over a little bit and this one back. And again, I'm not going to worry about pointing them up. I can do that easily enough. Pointing up is a process of filling in joints with mortar. This one here is a little bit too proud. And this dead blow hammer is essential for all this work. This is not. You can't use a rubber mallet. Rubber mallet would be maddening. You're just bouncing around without getting anything done. So this here applies incredible amount of force with a simple tap. And this one here, now this is all highly visible, so you want to get it just as pretty as you can by carefully working those joints, even if you use your hand to manually press them into place. I like to use my thumb. I know I should be probably using rubber gloves for protection, because mortar is highly caustic and it can cause chemical burns. But my hands have been working all my life at one thing or another, so they're not that tender to. There, I think I pretty well have that gauged. It looks pretty good. I think if it's you're working in 3 dimensions here, so you got to work quickly, but you got to also keep the positioning. I'll take my pointing trowel and well, it hasn't yet set up, but I can tell it's starting to get stiffer. So I'm going to sit and have a pipe, wait for that to firm up. Do a last check of my joints and make sure that they're the way they ought to be. I think I'm going to give that a little bit of a pop. Yeah, right here. Make sure each of these bricks are down firm against the form. This is the last time they'll be able to move. So once I'm satisfied, well, I think at this point now I can go and I can take some of this excess mortar off, pile it off carefully, and I'll sit and have a pipe, maybe even a nice beer on this hot day. And once I've had that, I think it'll be ready to wash down. So I'm not going to touch this anymore right now. Leave well enough alone. Well, I gave it about 35-40 minutes while I had a pipe and a beer and just relaxed a little bit in this heat. And things are cooling off a little bit now. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to pull this form out and show you how that goes, and we'll wash off these bricks a little bit with a damp sponge. So let's check it out. Now the mortar is it's changed its texture entirely. Right now it's kind of crumbly. It's more like wet dirt. It doesn't stick to my fingers. So I know that it's time to remove this form safely. Everything is the way it is. The mortar is just going to continue to set up tougher and tougher. In 12 hours, that mortar is incredibly, very, very strong. I've never seen mortar as strong as that at all. I mean, it takes some serious. I had one small section that I wanted to chisel down on the base of the oven a few days ago. And I'll tell you what, I was using a cold chisel and a hammer, and it was pretty hard to budge it. So what I'll do is I'll take my vice grips to get a good grasp of these shims here, these plastic shims. It's a hard vinyl, so it doesn't compress. Get this vice grip set up here, and just rock it and take them out one at a time. Again, this allows the vent arch to be able to drop down so that it can get away from the set mortar. It already dropped down. You can see how that's done its job just very nicely without wedging it and without pushing up on the mortar. I just slid it right out. So that's the end of this. That's the end of this gizmo. Very nice. It feels very, very good. I'll take my trowel and clean off any excess. Moderately wet sponge is all that's necessary to get that stuff off. You don't have to be soaking it any more than necessary. Somebody like me who's never done anything like this before, I've laid a few bricks in my life, but I've never done anything that's this challenging. And you know, for a complete amateur like me to be able to do this, I just want you to know that if it's something that you would like to do someday, don't hesitate. With a modest amount of skills, you can have a lot of fun and build something that really becomes a cherished piece of your home. You see how quickly that removed that excess mortar, and I'll go over it now more carefully. I'm using if I was still in the doing electroplating, I would have called this a drag out tank. A drag out tank was the tank that you passed your metals through before, I should say right after they went through caustic tank or plating tank, and it got rid of the majority of it rinsed the majority of the metal parts of whatever chemicals were on them, and after that they went through a rinse tank. So the drag out tank and then a rinse tank. Anybody who's in the plating business understands that, but that kind of reminds me of this. I'll continue to use, so this is dirty, so I'll rinse that out in what I call my drag out bucket, and then wring it out very, very well till it's dry, almost dry, and then I'll soak it in my clean bucket. I don't want to contaminate my clean bucket, and use this sponge now to swab it down, and watch out because it drools down the front, so you want to always, it's a constant process of washing things off so you don't have some permanent staining of mortar. So there you have it. It's a hot day, it's kind of miserable to work. I'm going to call it quits for the day. I don't want to set up and start doing anything more, it's just too hot, it's too humid. But for all my Patreon assistants, thank you very much for your donations. It helps me out a lot in these days, and keeps me going. You just you can use any assistance you can right now. And I wish to thank anybody who's watching for the first time. Give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, please. Very important. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. God bless.